So when I first began this series, I was like, hey, my name is Matt, aka Solidio. I'm a game developer. But what's my story? Am I just some privileged kid who got up one morning and was like, I'm gonna make video games? Or am I secretly Shigeru Miyamoto, dressed up in an elaborate costume that makes me look like a Slavic white man? Well, as it turns out, I am, in fact, Shigeru Miyamoto. Hey guys, and welcome back for episode 13. Really excited to talk about the latest changes. Game's looking tremendously sick. But before we get to that, I'd like to tell you a little bit about my game development career up until now. Alright, so here's the brief. I worked at a company called Real Programming for Kids about a decade ago when I was in college. I taught game programming from scratch in Java, C#, C++, to elementary and high school students. Made classic games with them like Frogger, Donkey Kong, Asteroids, and so on. Once I finished college, I applied to Digital Extremes and got the job there. Ended up working there for 7 years as a gameplay programmer on Warframe. Now on Warframe, I worked on shitloads of things. Operators, mods, Captura mode, Kavats, modular pet stuff, Helminth chair upgrades, and a whole bunch of other stuff that I probably can't remember now because I was there for so long. The whole time I was working there, and also before that when I was working at Real Programming for Kids, I always knew that I wanted to go on my own and do my own thing, so I was always working on my own projects in my spare time. I wrote my own OpenGL engine in C++ first, made a little like multiplayer space battles game, and then tons and tons of other projects as well. Did a couple of game jams. Eventually, towards the last few years of working at Digital Extremes, I thought to myself, okay, I had worked on many different projects, but I never completely finished anything. It's almost like a stereotype for game developers. It's so easy to get bored with one project, jump to another, or your scope is too big so you never finish it, whatever. So I sat down and I knew that if I'm gonna do what I'm doing now, I needed to finish something, right? I needed the experience of going from the very beginning to the very end. I needed the business and marketing experience. I needed to learn from my mistakes as quickly as possible. So I sat down and I thought, okay, what is the stupidest, simplest thing I can possibly make that I know I will finish? And that is how The Life of a Magical Circle was born. Of course, I couldn't contain myself, so Magical Circle ended up becoming something much more than just what it was originally supposed to be, which was actually just supposed to be a bunch of squares falling down the screen while you dodge them. That's how simple I had to keep it to restrain myself, okay? And anyway, turned out to be an absolutely brilliant game. Unfortunately, it was not very popular commercially, because as I mentioned in my very first video, this is of course because people are stupid and they don't know what's good for them. So to remedy the situation, I've decided that for my next project, I'm going to try something called marketing. And that brings us up to now. As soon as I was done with and had released Life of a Magical Circle, I was super excited to immediately jump into my second project because I felt like, all right, I get it now. I know how to do this, okay? I knew the game development part already. I just needed to figure out the business marketing side, and now it's like, okay, I see how this stuff works. And that brings us to this moment in time, the Samurai game. But before we jump into the Samurai game, I would like to let you know that The Life of a Magical Circle is now on sale for 33% off. Just for this week only. Anyway, if you wanted to check it out and support me, go ahead and check it out. I will warn you, that game is absolutely nothing like the Samurai game, so if you're hoping for like a preview of this game, that's not what you're going to be getting. You're going to want to take a look at the actual description of the game on the Steam store page, and hey, I hope you enjoy it. I was thinking of telling you guys a little bit more about the nature of the game and the secret to beating it and understanding it, but I think that'll kind of spoil it. And all I'm gonna say is just think a little when you're playing it, okay? Reflect, think a little bit, because you gotta do that if you want to beat the game and you want to enjoy it to its fullest. You need to think a little bit about what the game is about and what it's trying to tell you. And that's all I'll say about that. All right, now let's take a look at what dope shit I got going on with the Samurai game. Alright, so the major new thing this week is on the left click you got one attack, on the right click you got another attack. And the idea is that you're going to have to alternate based on what kind of enemy you're going up against in order to kill them. If you get the wrong one, you get killed. Now I believe I actually did present this in last week's video as well, but now I went ahead and started redesigning the entire first level from scratch using this new mechanic. So let's take a look at what it looks like. Now let me just redo that just to show you. Got a little shuriken item here I can pick up. Got ourselves a little whoop. Let's make sure we get that guy. I'm hoping that in the end we won't have to actually go with this blatant little HUD icon above the enemy to show you which attack to use in order to kill them. Hopefully we'll be able to come up with something a little bit more clever to make it feel more immersive. And you touch this to reveal the hidden rooms so that you don't have to go into them blind. Giving you a little hint there with the easy placement of it in the first level. Got ourselves another shuriken here, and boom, boom. Oh, I missed. Wow. Terrible. Wow, I missed again. So bad at this game. Oh, get wrecked. Alright, well that's it for this week. As usual, thanks for watching. Like I said, my first game is 33% off this week, Life of Magical Circle. Check it out, the link is in the description below. You can follow me on here or on any social media you prefer for regular updates on the Samurai game. And